Previously, I talked about these following topics: traffic flow, highway characteristics, human factor, highway capacity, and level of service. If I were to consider all of these topics as a database, something that I want to use for a design, the question comes, how do I collect them? How do I get these data? It's not like they are growing on a tree and then I just go and collect them from there. There has to be a way to collect these data. Traffic study is the process of collecting these data. Why do we need to collect these data? Why do we need to do traffic studies? Uh, According to the slides that Dr. Schrader posted, it's to get an idea. It helps us to get an idea of the operation, of the dynamics of the operation of a transportation network. It helps us to compare the actual and theoretical operation. We would like to see if our theories matches the real world, and to evaluate strategies for network modification or improvement. If we want to improve our network or modify a thing, adding a new lane or adding a roundabout, we need to base our ideas on real information. And the way to get these real information is through traffic studies. Some common traffic studies would be like speed, volume, arrivals, Poissons, gaps, intersection design, signal warrants, queue, pedestrian, safety, parking, turning movement, occupancy, delay, trip generation. As you may have noticed, some of these things in this list are directly or not directly related to some of the things that I talked about in my videos. Let's talk specifically about speed studies. Why do we need to do speed studies? Might be intuitive, but we need to set the speed limit, and through speed studies, we can determine the appropriate speed limit, one of the ways or one of the factors. We need to do speed studies to see whether if we have a speeding problems on the road or not, and to determine a solution. If we have a speed problem, we might want to add a speed hump or do something to, even psychologically, it doesn't have to be physically, to solve this speed problem. That's why a speed study is very important. How do we determine the speed limit? Looking at Dr. Schrader's slides about topic 5. In slide 5, Dr. Schrader notes the following. Most drivers drive what they perceive to be the safe and appropriate speed. A speed limit should be set at the 85th percentile speed, i.e., the speed at which 85% of the motorists are driving at or below. It's unrealistic to expect 100% will always have an outlier. A cumulative distribution is used to determine the 85th percentile speed. You may ask, why do we need to set it at the 85th percentile? Basically, in some towns, some cities, politicians set the speed limit arbitrarily just to appease some of the public, and that should not be the case. We should set our speed limit based on scientific evidence, not based on or just like to appease people. This is the safety of people. This is the efficiency of people's life. It should not be done just because some people don't like it. These are some of the methods or some of the types of speed studies. We can use a radar, or we can use a speed trap, or we can use the moving vehicle method. The speed trap is the most commonly used method, so I'm going to talk more about it. For a speed trap, we basically measure the time. That's going to be our objective in the process. Basically, we're going to set the trap. Let's see, we have a tree and we have a traffic signal. We're going to set the tree as our trap, and then we're going to measure the distance from the tree to the traffic signal. Then we're going to use math to calculate the speed. I just would like to point out that it's important uh, to choose the right trap because we need to be visible and we need to make sure it doesn't block our vision of the road. We need to make sure it helps us actually to get the right information. The moving vehicle method is helpful to calculate both speed and volume. However, unlike the speed trap method, it requires two people to perform the operation or the study. In speed trap method, one person is enough to do all the process and collect all the data. But in the moving vehicle method, it has to be at least two people collecting the data. As for the volume studies, two types, daily and hourly. Each one of them has their own uses. As Dr. Schrader notes here, it's good to know how to convert from one to another. There is the average daily traffic, the average annual daily traffic, all these kind of things we can do. We can calculate using through the volume studies.